two of former special counsel Robert Mueller's most important cooperators in the Russia investigation will not testify as scheduled before the House Intelligence Committee today, according to the committee chairman, Congressman Adam Schiff.
Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and former Deputy Trump campaign chairman Rick Gates received subpoenas back in June. Both men pleaded guilty to misleading investigators.
Joining us now with more on this is Keir Dougall. He's a CBSN legal contributor and former Assistant U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of New York. Thank you so much for joining us, Keir.
Thank you.
So let's start with this latest news that we have here, that both Flynn and Gates are in negotiations, but they're going to miss their subpoena deadline.
Right. So I think this is sort of a typical process. It's complicated scheduling it. It's complicated by the fact that both of these men have cooperation agreements, and further complicated in Flynn's case because we just have received reporting recently that Mr. Flynn may no longer be viewed as a cooperator by the prosecutors in that case, throwing his cooperation agreement in doubt. Scheduling this in a way that works for both the House and the witnesses seems to be the typical process.
Is this a stalling tactic?
It may be. One of the things, if you're representing a cooperator, is you don't want to do anything that would further jeopardize your cooperation agreement. You wouldn't want to do anything that would mess that up, although it's hard to see how helping the Congress would be viewed by prosecutors as something that would be detrimental. So it's a bit of a puzzle right now.
So Congressman Schiff did suggest that progress had been made. Gates is providing documents. Flynn lawyers are working to reschedule. What do you think those documents are that Congressman Schiff is receiving?
Well, if I was Schiff, I would want to see whatever documents were provided by Flynn and Gates to the special counsel's office that were underlying that that investigation, so that you could pursue this narrative of trying to help the people that didn't read Mr. Mueller's 448-page report, get it sort of on TV now, because it's easier to digest and maybe it's more punchy.
Why issue a subpoena if these two men have been cooperating? Why do you think that the committee did that?
So I think the cooperation agreement did not specifically require, or may not have specifically required, the testimony to the House. It further potentially would have required the cooperation and the request. Often when you've got different bodies investigating each other, there's the potential for one set of investigators to step on the toes or mess up the other's investigation. I'm sure there's been some hesitation there. But from the reporting that I've read, the House is simply getting impatient, and the way to force the issue is to issue subpoena, which, if you fail to comply with, it can have dire consequences.
The President of the United States earlier tweeted, "The Dem witch hunt continues." What does Congress hope that these testimonies will accomplish or establish?
So that is, I think, the Republican Party's narrative, that it's an improperly launched investigation. I would think that the Democrats would want to, among other things, reinforce that the Russians interfered with our election and that it's very serious. Reinforce that effort was aimed at helping the Trump campaign and hurting the Clinton campaign. Reinforce that the Trump campaign, in a variety of ways, welcomed that help. Reinforce what's in the 448-page report, that there were multiple obstructive acts committed by various people, including President Trump. And that these are serious issues for the American public to consider and the House to consider when they oversee the administration and when voters go to the polls next year.
All right. Keir Dougall, thank
you.